The World Order. Okay, welcome back to a new analysis of one of the latest government meetings. Today I'm going to talk about President Trump's meeting with Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. Now, a lot of what I'm going to say is based upon the fact that I've lived in Germany on 3 separate occasions. I've had visas for that country. I've went through the immigration process 3 separate times. I believe it was 3 separate times. Yeah, I think it was 3. I lived in about 4 cities there. And, I feel like I have a relationship with the German people. That was my first international language I studied. Second language that I studied. And so I kind of with all of that, I've learned how to really understand and be able to translate their mannerisms into words. Because, now we're getting into language and culture and mannerisms that also have their own language besides the words that they speak. And German was a very difficult language for me to learn because direct translations in English weren't exactly the same, nor were emotions. The way that they display emotions is totally different. I have a lot of videos actually in the future to do with German. Anyway, so Trump meets with Angela Merkel. He does about a 30-minute press conference, and it wasn't so much what Angela Merkel said. She just has her demeanor. She just is the same. It seems like everywhere she goes, she just is the same person. So no one can say she's a two-faced woman. I believe she's duplicitous. I believe that, and I'm going to speak straight words. Like I said, I have a long history with Germany. And their energy is one thing about them. Their energy is consistent, very consistent. They're one of the most consistent countries. And what you see is just about what you get. What you see with them, with the German people, is just about what you get. And I have to respect them for that. I actually respect them for that. And with Angela Merkel, most of what you saw is what you get. She just learned how to say things say things with an underlying meaning. And it's not even, this press conference is not so much about Angela Merkel and what she said, but there's such a rocky history between the U.S. and Germany that's just always going to be there. It's never going to die. And I lived through it, and it's just never going to die. But back to I say it's never going to die, I mean that these sentiments, the feelings, the animosity is just never going to change. Because you're talking about generations and generations and generations of idea implementation, of being taught dislike, and that's another video. We'll get into that. And they have a very strong energy. As far as Germany has a very unique, very strong energy. So like I said, it's not so much about what Angela Merkel said. It was just her posturing, her standing next to Trump, and Trump is. I almost want to say Trump is a hard ass. President Trump is a hard ass. He knows how to posture. He's alpha as hell. Even though she is a woman, he's going to deal with her like a man, if you understand what I mean. Because Angela Merkel is not like a lot of the other female politicians even. She is very masculine in a lot of ways, to the utmost. And I think her masculinity actually helped her get into office. But anyway, what I want to talk about is I want to raise this point pretty early, and this whole idea of what Germany specifically has about President Trump is an example, or it bears witness to what Obama has done, or the type of President Obama was while he was there for 8 years. And I've said this in other videos. You can go back and look at him. President Obama really softened the core of America. He softened it like it was a person that needed a makeover, instead of it was a country that needed to progress, if you understand what I'm saying. President Obama really did, I think he did equal damage as far as President Bush. President Bush took the United States to the extreme in one direction, and I believe that President Obama took the United States in the opposite direction to a far extreme. And it seemed like, President Obama was just very much, his energy was more about, he was too accommodating to other nations. That's how we have this whole, I believe it is the NAFTA bill was, there was a lot of issues with that, and people were not, as far as, I call the war agreement that, the United States defends a lot of different countries and everyone pays into the NATO agreement. He really allowed other countries to not do their fair share. And I don't know if he was too busy chucking and jiving and partying with Hollywood, that he really didn't get the things done that he needed to get done. He really didn't. It seemed like he focused on certain social issues instead of really just strengthening the United States. And I believe that a lot of what President Obama didn't do is falling, and it will fall. It's falling on the shoulders of President Trump. And it's the reason why so many people really don't like President Trump, is because of the absence of strength, backbone, direction, and proper guidance that President Obama just did not have in his time in the White House. He really didn't. Like I said in that video about Europe and the U.S., when President Obama was a breath of fresh air for Europeans who do not like the U.S. anyway, because he was nothing more than a doormat, and he let them have their own way. And Germany, did not have to worry about him because he enforced absolutely nothing. This whole open borders, he was like, oh, you guys letting people in, but we're letting people in too. He was kind of like that type of president. And I believe that there were a lot of other presidents, like in the East, especially Putin, who did not respect him. I think that, presidents like, Shinzo Abe, of Japan, they just tolerated him. They understand he's a young guy, he's a black guy, looking at the history of America. And so they're like, this is like, okay, we're just going to deal with this guy. He's harmless, but he's not really presidential. And, Putin he's not going to deal with weakness, period. He's just not going to deal with it, period. And it just seems like what, Obama didn't do is falling. It's really clean up for President Trump. It's everything that President Trump has to clean up. So back to this, and I say all of this because it really ties into what we just saw as far as the press conference. There's one reporter who says a whole lot, who said a whole lot, and just maybe she had about 2 minutes to speak, and she mentioned that President Trump is an isolationist, saying that, um, him focusing on America is to the detriment of Europe. Since when? Since when does any country since when does any country look down upon for taking care of their own people? That's unheard of. If that's the case, every Asian country is isolationist. Every Asian country, and their immigration standards and laws are much tougher than a lot of Western countries. They're much tougher. Yet every year, Westerners go there, try and immigrate. They marry into these countries, and nobody says a damn thing, you know. But for Trump to all of a sudden take American needs into consideration, he's an isolationist now. And of course, this is coming from Germany. I have absolutely less than zero respect for their newspapers, Süddeutsche Zeitung, Die Welt, Berliner, whatever. I've read that stuff over the years. And, I just, even my first time in Germany, just in the hotel watching their news, just the snarkiness, just the obvious hatred, it's all good. You can have your own opinion of a country, that's fine. But I hope that a lot of German people will at some point, because I know that they love their media and they believe every single thing that their media tells them, every single thing. It is law. It is almost like the Quran for them. I hope that they begin to notice what is a game of telephone with a spin on it as opposed to what is the absolute truth. So, Trump fires back and says, I'm not an isolationist, a strong America works for everyone else. But see, that's the thing, and I said this years ago. I don't have it on tape, but I said this years ago. When America goes down, America going down and having all these financial issues, economic issues that it's had over the last 8 years, has allowed Germany to skyrocket. Germany did well. When America does well, Germany doesn't do well too. You understand what I'm saying? Times when America was doing very well, then like Seoul was doing well, other countries in Asia, they were treading along with the West. So they were working their program, or their economic program, their government program strongly, and the United States was doing it. And it seems like, when America does very well, like Europe just kind of lays back. And it needs for America to do bad in order for it to become strong. So over the last 8+ years, Europe has really strengthened and they've come along, even though they have, different parts of Europe has such a strong foundation, a strong base, that they can be superpowers in their own right. They don't need for the United States to trip up, slip up, and take a step back in order for them to shine and move forward. They don't need that. We're talking about empires. We're talking about world-renowned historical empires. When do you need baby America to step back so you can shine, so you can be strong? And that's basically what we've witnessed, at least over the last 10 years, And so, the next point, the reporter said that President Trump doesn't respect the EU. What he doesn't respect is the fact that very strong nations are put into a position to kowtow, or they're put into a childlike position when they're nations. They are not states. The European Union is not akin to what the United States is, and I've said this 1,000,001 times. I said this 10-15 years ago. It's not that. These are nations. These are like adults. These are like a group of alpha countries, alpha people, adhering to one beta person. It doesn't make any sense. There's no need for it. Germany is strong in its own right. We've seen that throughout history. England is strong in its own right. We've seen that throughout history. This is what Trump is responding to. President Trump does not like weakness. He does not respond well to weakness. And that's what maybe they take it as a sign of disrespect. No, he just doesn't understand it. Why are these strong countries in a in a minuscule and minimized position when these are empires. We learned about you in grammar school, you know. It makes no sense to anyone who knows anything about history and anything about these countries, anyone who has lived in these countries, anyone who has traveled to these countries. Germany doesn't need to lean on Brussels. Brussels, who's Brussels? Like, no offense, but they don't have the flexibility, the leadership and trait as Germany does. Germany doesn't need Brussels to take the like, and then France is its own powerhouse in exports and its own stuff. It doesn't need to be beholden to another person. You can have your own trade agreements, but that's something else. That's a separate video. And then the reporter also says America first weakens the EU, and this is what I said before. I'm gonna have to do a second video to make sure that this uploads. So stay tuned for part 2.